Hello, I am Elijah Armstrong. I am a lighter skinned black male with locks, wearing a gray t shirt, and this is one of our 2023-2024 Heumann-Armstrong Award videos. For those of you who don't know, the Heumann-Armstrong Award is an education award for students in the 6th grade and up, including all forms of higher education, who have experienced and fought against ableism in education. We select 6 winners a year and give them each $1,000, and we also shoot a video with them that's illustrated by Access Gallery, giving them a chance to tell their stories. And this is one of those videos. So we are really happy to introduce you to Heumann-Armstrong Award winner Ethan Brown. On screen now are the logos for all four organizations: the American Association of People with Disabilities, the Quello Center, Equal Opportunities for Students, and Esquire Bank. On screen now is the logo for the Heumann-Armstrong Award and white text on a gray background that reads, Present 2023-2024 Heumann-Armstrong Award winner Ethan Brown, illustrated by Access Gallery.
Hello, my name is Ethan Brown. I am he, him pronouns. I'm a Caucasian male who wears glasses with curly brown hair, and
A headshot of Ethan Brown in a purple sport coat.
I'm wearing a colored blue and white shirt.
An illustration of Ethan in the same position.
I'm from Salina, Kansas, but I currently attend Kansas State University. Go Cats! And I'm a senior in studying marketing right now.
Kansas State University.
All my life, I've had tetraplegic cerebral palsy, which means I have partial paralysis in both my legs and my left arm. That means that I have trouble with steps and stairs. I fatigue easily. It's tough walking places, and
Ethan struggling to walk downstairs.
because of my CP, I really only I have fine motor issues, so it's mostly just me typing with one hand, writing with one hand. I have vision issues due to my cerebral palsy. I wear corrective lenses for that. I really like the environment of my school. I feel like we have a really friendly student community, really supportive faculty, and really active alumni. Personally, I really like being at the collegiate level just because of the independent living situation that I currently have, and just the opportunity to create such great relationships that have helped me and been really impactful on my journey of life and not only college.
Ethan living independently.
I've found ways to get really involved in I found unique ways to get involved in extracurricular activities that are less fine motor skill oriented, but more on the cerebral side of being able to collaborate with other students and be in problem solving scenarios. I've been involved in student government, our alumni association, Greek life, and and different nonprofit organizations.
Ethan as a part of the student government.
The faculties and most of the faculty and professors that I've worked with have been great, really supportive. They've helped me excel academically and really prepared me for my post-school career. Um, and of course, anywhere you go, any university, even mine, you'll experience like faculty and other staff who don't really, or people in general who don't understand or are resistant to change when it comes to accommodations. But I've been really fortunate to have a group like the Student Access Center to work with me and other faculty to help address those concerns when I have them and to help me receive accommodations and really course uh, find a course of action through my college career that's worked for me, and I really appreciate that opportunity and just being able to get that assistance when I need it. Academically, throughout high school and elementary school, I had an IEP, and now that I'm in college, I utilize our Student Accessibility Center here on campus to help with my in class accommodations and I utilize our testing center for private testing. I use special technology like voice recognition and other typical ones that you can find on Word and other computers for ease of testing when it comes to like writing essays.
Ethan using speech to text technology.
So I've experienced ableism at every level of my education, and ironically, the most prominent example was when my high school was trying to remodel and improve the general. I did air quotes this then, but improve the general student experience. So when I was in high school, I was coming off of a hip surgery and was in a wheelchair, and in like they had approved this multi-million dollar bond. Um, Community-wide project to improve our high schools, and um, in that, as a part of the planning process, they took out the push button doors, and I like coming out of surgery in my wheelchair, I couldn't exit or get into the school. So um,
Ethan using a wheelchair, unable to get into his high school.
I talked um so that was the one of the first major like physically um ableism in education that I had faced. In college, I witnessed the advancements of technology, and like remote learning really becoming to rise during COVID. And I read during my freshman year, I registered for an online class that I wanted to take for fun and to explore a career path. And I had a professor, um, and this, so I followed all the procedures and getting the and like there were a lot of them, and getting the right amounts of not amounts. I followed all the correct procedures in order to get my accommodations approved from the Student Access Center, and was like, I'd had 2 semesters of classes. I was like, I'm kind of used to this now. And so I had a professor, and they said that based on my performance on the exam, that I didn't need them. Didn't need the accommodations. And this person had never met me. They didn't know um, who I was, my ability levels, or anything. It was just all over email, and um, it was really disheartening to have someone dismiss my documented disability and my accommodations, like after not even meeting me. I tried to communicate multiple times. Um, I was unsuccessful. I ended up dropping the class, but and I filed a report with our Office of Institutional Equity, and so ultimately, inadvertently, I got an education in I got an education in equity and investigation and review. So even though I won, I lost the chance to follow that passion and that possible career path, and confidence in that department of my university.
Ethan's professor denying him accommodations.
The accommodations that I use typically fall into 2 categories. The first category is the physical classroom and overall campus accessibility. And it all starts with the beginning of enrolling in my classes and building my schedule so that I can easily walk to my classes and move between them easily and across. And if I need to move across campus, building in enough time for me to be able to move through them, like to get to them on time. And then the second part is accommodations designed to help me compensate for my physical disability. So I use voice recognition for my essays, and being able to take tests with extra time to compensate for my slow typing ability, or filling out those little Scantron bubbles. that takes me a lot of extra time to do it right. So being able to utilize the testing center and take tests privately so I can have that extra time to help me do these to help compensate for that physical disability is really important. Um, so these accommodations are communicated directly from me and the Student Access Center to my professors. So being able to like get to know them on a personal level is really important so that um being able to put a face and a personality behind the request to make it more commonplace and accepted typically for those accommodations to be met is always something that I really prioritize. And being able to do it ahead of time is really important. Like when I'm making my schedule and talking to my professors before the class even starts, so that we're all on the same page going into it rather than trying to adjust on the fly and trying to play catch up.
Ethan building relationships with his professors.
All right, one of my favorite quotes is from President Theodore Roosevelt, who said that this country, being America, wouldn't be a permanently good place for any of us to live in unless it's a reasonably good place for all of us to live in. And I'm passionate about the disability rights movement because growing up, I didn't necessarily see a lot of people who looked like me or had the same life experiences that I had. And once I did, I realized that there was a limit on what was expected of us or what was thought we could achieve.
Ethan as the only disabled person.
So I really wanted to break those limits and expand them. And as I've grown, I've encountered many other people with disabilities. I'm trying to open doors for not only myself and the others, but the future generations of people with disabilities. And my personal heroes are the people who grew up supporting me. So my physical therapist, my teachers, my para-educators, and my occupational therapists. And they're the people who really believed in me and really helped me create a good self-esteem for myself and helped me believe that I could go out in the world and do anything. So I'm just really grateful for them and the lessons that they helped teach me and the limits that they took off of me. And at K-State, after my freshman year, I worked with the Student Access Center on a number of representing them on a number of boards, including the Intercultural Leadership Council with fellow students from other minority groups, and the Universal Design for Accessibility board as well, and that was an internal group. But I realized that there was a disconnect between what the students were talking about and what the Student Access Center was talking about, and I really wanted to be that connection between between the students and what was going on in accessibility.
Ethan fighting for accessibility with faculty and students.
So I talked to the incoming student body president and really stressed the importance of having someone representing accessibility, a student representing accessibility on our campus, and successfully negotiated a new cabinet position called the Student Access Director. And in that role, I served it for 2 years, and it was really cool because I was able to work with different faculty and students and talking about leading different forums and working to talk about different accessibility projects that the Student Access Center was working on, but also how students could get involved in those. Last year, I was involved with. I started a student board and authored a proposal about on-campus transportation and the importance of that for students, and that proposal was presented to our university student fee committee, and that reported to the Kansas Board of Regents. And
Ethan getting more accessible buses brought to campus.
Um, and I'm not serving in that position anymore, but I'm proud that it is self-sustaining now, and that there will be future accessibility driven student leaders on our campus. So, last point about me, in the future, I'm looking at continuing my work in higher education and creating a more accessible culture, and talking about that further. I'm hoping to pursue a master's and probably a doctorate in higher education, and hopefully working with an emphasis in policy to increase accessibility going forward on a national level.
Ethan getting a PhD.
So I want to live in a world where every student feels comfortable setting the goal of getting their high school and or college degrees, and I want them to feel able to ask the question about what sports they need that and how to make them available. I want this to be common, standard, and accepted going forward. So just living in a world where education is equal opportunity. And then, so my advice to students is not to go through your education unsatisfied. Unfortunately, not everyone is going to have your best interests at heart, but find people who support you, and rely on that support staff. Be so thankful for them, and know that you will encounter challenges, but you can accomplish great things. You can just be strong, have hope, and work hard. Be strong, have hope, and work hard. And then today's students wouldn't have had the educational opportunities afforded to us without the policymakers and change drivers and the revolutionary people that have been in this country across time. So just so thankful to them. Significant barriers to higher education and career readiness are present in the disability community. And while it's a really broad area, I hope to reduce ableism and increase representation in the higher education in the work addressing the obstacles in higher education. So, and the biggest point for me is that many of the obstacles in educational ableism are preventable, and it's just all about getting in front of those issues and being on the preparation side rather than being on the preparation side of reform, and not being as reactionary but being proactive in our fight against educational ableism. Education in especially in higher learning, can be the great equalizer in this capitalistic society value system that we live in. It's all about getting people into higher education is the first step, but it's really all about the effort that is exerted once we get in them. But it's all about initially that opportunity is most important. And I think so many times we forget that having the disability is never the problem for people with disabilities. It's the inaccessibility. It's the inaccessibility that we experience and see in our structures and organizations that is the problem. And how we address those is most important. I hope to address issues in education through representation, bringing accessibility into the prior planning stages of structural and curriculum planning and overall legislation in our education.
Ethan designing a ramp for a school. Thank you, Ethan, for sharing your story with us. You can find out more about Ethan in the link in the description, and also more about all of the organizations that came together to allow this award to happen. You can also find out more about the 5 other winners of the Heumann-Armstrong Award from this year, who also have videos out, as well as the winners from the previous 2 years who have videos out as well. Yeah, so lead on, everyone. Lead on.